how tough this game is. You go into All-Star break with an emotional high on Tuesday and trying to finish out your last game, with not the same atmosphere and a team that has lost 18 in a row. And we played as if we assumed we were going to come out and win tonight. And that's, it's good for them, good for us. And the lesson is learned. We learned the lesson tonight. We learned that this is the NBA, and there's the guy asked me last game after the game, was this our best win of the year against the Lakers? And I told him every win is a good win for us, and I really meant that, because every person, every team understands in the NBA you can win on any night, you can lose on any night, and we lost tonight because we deserve to lose tonight.
Coach, the Knicks took out 14-0 and were up as much as 17 in the first quarter. While the Hawks were able to come back to tie, do you think too much energy was expended in that?
There was never any energy expended tonight. I thought they just slowed down and we started to make a couple of shots. We didn't play good basketball. Even when we brought the game to a halt, we weren't playing good basketball. We weren't playing together, and we weren't playing with effort. And so that's why we weren't able to sustain it even when we brought it back. There was no momentum. There was no run. We just got ourselves slowly back into a game that we never were really in.
You mentioned feeling like this is a game that your team assumed they were going to win. Do you sense that before the game at all? Do you sense any lack of urgency?
No, if you've been in the NBA a while, you understand these type of games. Matchups, marquee matchups, big games, things like that. You understand. You understand that these games happen all the time, and really they happen to teams like the Warriors and like the Rockets that are, they know they're going to the playoffs and they've been in this position before, and they got a marquee matchup coming up. So, been in this situation a lot of times where you can overlook an opponent or you can downplay a game, especially after coming off an emotional high like we did with the Lakers. So you can sense that and you can anticipate that, and you try and prepare your team to find ways not to fall into that trap. And we fell into the trap today. We just didn't have any effort or any fight.
Coach, the Knicks don't have many wins, and as you mentioned, they were just coming off an 18-game losing streak, but several of their wins have been against our Hawks. Do you think it's a matchup issue with the Knicks?
No, it's a different team. And the team we played last didn't have Dennis Smith or DeAndre Jordan, didn't have Kadeem Allen. It's a different team. It's definitely not a matchup problem. Tim Hardaway Jr. was our problem the first two games we played, and he's no longer here. So it's just the effort. It's about us. It's not what happened with us and the Knicks. We didn't approach the game the way we needed to approach the game, and that was the real issue.
Coach, considering your expectations entering this season, how would you rate or grade this team entering the All-Star break?
Pretty much where I think most of us would have anticipated it. Early on in the year, the biggest challenge I knew I was going to have was the teaching. Trying to educate 3 rookies and a bunch of guys I've never worked with, a lot of schemes, terminology, and install an offensive playbook and try and execute it. And so, I talk about October and November being a lot of thinking and not playing and not reacting. And so, early struggles are a result of that. Everyone's new, including the players and myself. From Christmas to All-Star, I thought that's where we saw a lot of growth. We saw Kevin Huerter, really blow up at Philadelphia and really have a great game at Indiana. We see Trae, his shooting numbers come to earth for us. And you see him dominate. You see him really just be a floor leader. John was amazing from Christmas to All-Star. And so for a team, it's where we probably want it to be. Teaching, learning, experiencing the NBA for the first time, for the first 2.5 months, the next 2 months, next month and a half, whatever it is, putting it together and having fun and having a spirit. And so now we're in the final thirds from All-Star to the end of the year, where we have to learn as pros how to approach games like this and the rest of the year. From a professional standpoint, from a growth standpoint, and to gain as much experience as we can. It's important for Amari Spellman to go into the offseason with a lot of film to watch on himself. And hopefully it's a lot of positive film. But we want to gather information. We want to be able to finish. We want to be in tight games. We want to go in 9 road games. We want to go and test ourselves on the road some more. And we want to finish here at home. We want to have a better showing at home. We know when we perform, the city of Atlanta enjoys the Hawks and they enjoy this young team. But we have to do that. We have to prove that more often. And so that's the focal point for us as a basketball team from All-Star to the end of the year. But this is where we knew we would be when you have a young team, the ups and the downs to start, the ups in the middle, and then we have to figure out how to finish the year collectively as a group. This is our roster. This is who we'll be for the remainder of the year. And so the togetherness is there, the spirit is there, the information is all there. We just have to apply it every time we step to the court.
Coach, with a loss like this, especially going into the All-Star break, would you like to have your team just kind of get away from basketball during the break?
Yeah, it's important. It is. We've played 58 games. It's a lot of basketball. I think Trae played a little under 40 last year. I'm sure Kevin played under 40. I think Amari played 40, being a national champion. So 18 more games than they're used to. We still have 24 more to go. It's important to decompress, to get away, to enjoy time. I asked every single guy where they were going, just to know, where their minds will be for the next 4 or 5 days. But it is important to get away and then to come back feeling refreshed and having, some of the knick-knack injuries probably gone, so we can finish the season the right way.
Coach, coming out of the All-Star break, do you have any personal goals as far as how the team should finish the season?
No, it's still, it's still growth and development. I think, had we lost the game and competed and played as hard as we played the other night and we were out there fighting and playing together, I would have had no problems. That wouldn't have been my issue. I didn't think we had the right approach tonight. So the rest of the year is about our approach and the effort and the togetherness and the spirit. We've done a lot of good things leading up to this point to get our team and our players together to buy in. We have to find a way to hold on to that for the next 24 games. So that's the most important part. Our players continue to get better, to continue to show growth, continue to work, but as a unit, we have to stay together. We have to keep the spirit. And we have to finish on a high note.
Coach, knowing that John and Trae are going to Charlotte, have you spoke with them or given them any advice about just being in that atmosphere around all those All-Stars?
The easiest and simplest answer is to enjoy it. You can get overwhelmed if you've never been with, the social commitments and community events that you have to do, the media and press that they have to do, the amount of people that's there, in addition to just playing in the game and participating on Saturday. So the biggest thing is they have to enjoy it. If you get overwhelmed, you kind of miss the purpose of going. But I hope they'll have their families there. They both will. They're flying out tonight, and they'll get to play in the game tomorrow, and it'll be a lot of fun. But I hope they just get 2 days to really enjoy it and then get some personal time away after.
Coach, leading up to the All-Star break, are there any specific areas that you feel like the team had overachieved based on your initial expectations?
One thing I was encouraged most with is the shot selection. And we've talked about it a lot this year. I think we're 69% of our shots are at the rim or three. And, to educate a young team on what we're looking for offensively and then go out and execute it is important. And we know we can get better. We know we can move the ball better. We know we can continue to find those type of shots anytime we want. And so we talk about good to great. We get a lot of good shots. We want great shots. And that's the demand we place on ourselves offensively. I think our guys understand what I was hoping to bring offensively and defensively. And so it's still just a matter of more time, continuing to execute. But I like the spirit of our group. I like the collectiveness. I like the togetherness of our group. I like where we're headed. And so you never know. As a first-time coach, I didn't know if I was going to be fighting players every day or, disgruntled guys or guys not buying into it. But I think the guys really buy into it. They really enjoy each other, and they enjoy my staff, which is very important.